It's October the 29th, 3 weeks before the Tory defector Mark Reckless is to fight a by-election as the new UKIP candidate in the Kent seat of Rochester and Strood. The government has promised a vote on the controversial European arrest warrant, which allows for the rapid extradition of criminal suspects between EU member states. Ed Miliband supports the government on the measure, but he seeks to exploit Tory divisions over Europe.
Mr. Speaker, a vital tool that has helped to bring murderers, rapists and paedophiles to justice is a European arrest warrant. Why is he delaying having a vote on it? It's a by-election in Rochester and Strood. He's paralysed by fear of another backbench rebellion on Europe.
Mr. Speaker, there's only one problem with his question, which is we are going to have a vote. We're going to have it for the Rochester by-election. His questions have just collapsed.
It's November the 10th, the day of the planned vote on the European arrest warrant. The first signs of trouble arrive when it's not specifically included in the list of measures on European law enforcement coming before the Commons.
The Whip's prepared us a brief on the sort of technical details of the motion before the House today, and the name of the motion, you know, it was trailed as being all about the European arrest warrant. It doesn't even appear in the wording of the motion.
The government has summoned its MPs with a three-line whip, which means they must come and vote. But as the European arrest warrant has been excluded from the motion, Tory Eurosceptics are planning to rebel.
Only a handful of people have paid any attention to the details of the motion until today. Normally people don't look at parliamentary the agenda until the day of the agenda. I normally don't. I come in and I have a look at it and I see what's happening. And so I think people will be astonished to discover that after the Prime Minister promised a debate on the arrest warrant, that is not what is listed on the order paper. And my guess is it's deliberate, that I think the government wants to minimise the rebellion on the Tory benches.
The government points out that the European arrest warrant is already part of UK law. But the Home Secretary, Theresa May, pledges the government will treat tonight's vote on the other required changes as if it included a specific vote on the warrant. But her Labour opposite number claims she's just playing with words and smells blood.
But why not let Parliament have the vote that they were promised? But the Home Secretary has gone one step further. It's a disappearing magic trick. 1 minute the European arrest warrant is there, the next minute it's gone. 1 minute you see it, the next minute it disappears. It's her Paul Daniels Act.
The Right Honourable Lady really does protest too much on this matter. The vote on the next motion will be a vote on the regulations. The government is clear that we will be bound by that vote. And if this House votes against the regulation, then it will be voting against the government opting into all of the measures, including the European arrest warrant.
Tory rebels join the scorn being poured on the government's position.
This is a travesty of our parliamentary proceedings. And I'm sorry that the Home Secretary is shaking her head when I say this, because she knows perfectly well that this is a trick.
The motion that we have got before us to allocate time was allocated on the basis either of error or of falsehood. As I look down from here at the Treasury bench, I want to see something that is solid, but I am worried that it is made of increasingly crooked wood. We want to have it re-solidified and we want this motion withdrawn.
I didn't expect everybody to agree with me, particularly not those on the Treasury bench, but they've been playing fast and loose with procedures, and that is something the government simply can't be allowed to get away with. It undermines democracy if they cheat the system.
So my overlong time in this House of Commons has led me to understand that the growth of executive arrogance is unsupportable. And this is what so angers one. This is what brings this chamber into disrepair. We are not able to discuss the substance of what we stand for here. And that is wrong.
Amid the Tory rage, the Labour frontbencher Thomas Doherty walks across to the government side to confer with the Tory rebel Jacob Rees-Mogg. It looks an unlikely alliance. But behind the scenes, the Labour whips are marshalling their MPs for a surprise attack.
There's an email that we got from the whips. They're saying that there might be an early vote today. They want bodies in the chamber.
Labour support the European arrest warrant, but they've spotted an opportunity to defeat the government on one of the issues where it's most vulnerable.
We had a message off our party whips saying that a vote is imminent. So I'm going to make my way over to the chamber now and hopefully we might catch the Tories on the hop.
At 1 minute to 7, Labour call for a vote not on the issue itself, but for the whole debate to be abandoned. Government ministers aren't expecting a challenge from the opposition. They're scattered all over London, believing there'll be a routine vote at 10 o'clock. Plans are hurriedly changed to get back to the Commons. At the Guildhall in the City of London, the Prime Minister is at the Lord Mayor's banquet, and he's brought news of Labour and the Tory rebels' surprise attack.
I say to the Right Honourable Lady, we had time for debate.
Theresa May keeps on talking so that the Tories have time to get more boots on the ground.
Put in place because there is no requirement in legislation for any measure to be put in place for the European arrest warrant, for us to remain in the European arrest warrant.
The government's completely caught by surprise, and what government MPs are now trying to do is filibuster so they get all their MPs back from dinner all over central London so they can vote that down. So Theresa May did a very long speech with lots of helpful interventions from her own backbenchers to try and keep the debate going.
Government whips scuttle back and forth as they seek to stave off the rebellion.
Well, I thought there was going to be a vote, and now it seems that it's being delayed to make sure there are enough people back, because it was coming much earlier than expected. And it seems to be taking a while, so I'm going to go and take my son to go and get him into his pyjamas so that he's ready for bed when the vote does eventually come. It's getting a bit late for him otherwise.
The Liberal Democrat Jenny Willett will be voting against the Labour motion that the question be not now put.
So it's a debate on whether the question should not now be put. And I will be voting no, so that the question should not now be put. You can see why people don't really understand the way that Parliament works when it's quite as archaic as that.
In the chamber, accusations of parliamentary chicanery fly on both sides.
This is an example of game playing on a crucial by the party opposite. A crucial matter.
At 8:05, the Tories can stall no longer, and the Labour motion to abandon the vote is finally put before the House.
Question is that the question be not now put.
Come on. You bring your car. There's a hairdresser, you've got to go. Okay? Honestly don't know which way it's going to go today.
During votes, Jenny Willett must leave her son in the Lib Dem whip's office.
You say jack your car? It's just on the minute. Jack your car. Good boy. Back in a sec.
What's the matter? Do you want to come inside?
Tory MPs arrive in full evening dress, having been summoned back before they could even start their starter.
The Prime Minister is in tails in there. He's come straight from a banquet at the Mansion House. That photograph he doesn't like.
It does look like he's been transported out of like the 1800s.
MPs stream back to the Commons right up to the voting deadline.
The ayes to the right, 229. The noes, the left, 272.
The government manages to win by 43 votes after one of the biggest Commons fiascos in recent history.
There are people sitting next to me who've been in the House for like decades just saying I've never seen anything like it. It was an absolute shambles and it was really badly mismanaged, but very exciting actually.
See you all later. See you tomorrow. Right.
The government's victory comes at the cost of widespread anger on the backbenches. And it's the Tory awkward squad who feel most aggrieved.
Of course, outside in the dog and duck, nobody will understand what's happened, but basically democracy lost and the government won. We were supposed to have a debate on the European arrest warrant and a vote on it. The government had promised it, and they just didn't do what they promised.
Amidst the political point-scoring, the crucial question of how Britain's criminal justice and policing system should interact with Europe has scarcely been debated.
I think sort of party politics has got in the way a little bit, and I think it means that we haven't really had a debate on the merits of the actual motion, which I think is a shame, really.